So this is a mobilization for the lats muscles. It's tight when in overhead movements a lot of times. Lats are a large muscle that covers a lot of your back. So if Chris lifts his arms over his head here, part of the limitation of his lifting there is this lat muscle that comes and attaches into his upper back. If they're very stiff, he might end up arching his back to get all the way up there, and that's not what we want to do with a load especially. So we're trying to loosen up this sort of armpit area into his back. So we're going to start doing that with the foam roller because we want to cover that whole area into his upper back to start. So Chris is going to lie down with sort of the back wall of his armpit along the foam roller, and his arm's going to be reached over his head, and he's going to look around through that whole back of his armpit into his upper back, looking for tight spots. Rolling back a little bit too to get a little bit of the stuff that's more into the back and attaching into his upper back here. He's going to hang out on any nasty tight spots, and as he's there, he's also going to lift his arm and reach it overhead to get a little bit of a stretch as he's doing it. So once he's covered the sort of global area of his lats with the foam roller, he's going to use a lacrosse ball to get a little more specific into the area, into his armpit where it meets with his rotator cuff. And so that ball is going to go right into this crook of his armpit here. And so it can get a little more intense because it's a smaller surface area. And he's going to look to grind out some of the tight knots and gnarly bits that he finds in his lats there. You can play around with a little bit of rolling back on it and rolling forward to find some of these tight areas in that lat.